All right, this is, I think it's day 4 of working on I'm Not the Only One by Sam Smith from Sheet Music. And if it's day 5, I'll label it day 5 when I figure that out. I just did go through just reading down the chart a couple of times before I pulled out the camera because I kind of thought maybe I wasn't going to film it. And then I was like, you know what, that's what I'm doing. I'm filming it. So. And also, like, I was kind of proud of how it went because I got through everything I've learned so far with no mistakes, and then I got another couple 8 bars. And then I did get to a spot where it was a little tough. I've played through that a couple of times, 3 to 5 times on each of the 2 spots that were tough. And I think that I might get it in this session, or at least, like, I've already just in a few times just made a lot of progress. So those tough spots are this. Oh, no, that's not the one. Is it the measure before? Yes, it is. Yep, okay. There it is. So it's just a matter of slowing it down. And what we have is this open hi-hat thing going on. The pattern in the bass and snare is the same in this particular one as has been before, but the open hi-hat is changing. So that was very awkward. I think I played it technically correctly, but it was super awkward. And the awkward part was closing the hi-hat again because I keep wanting to hit the bass drum on the downbeat on the one of the following measure, and there is no bass drum there. And because I'm used to it, I'm going to hit it, and then I realize I'm not supposed to hit it, and then that throws off my hand, which is just a simple. And all that's going on, I haven't tried this method yet, but I'm going to try just playing the hi-hat part alone without anything else. All right, let's do that one more time. And that's kind of the thing about teaching yourself, I guess, is you don't really know what is the methodology of learning this instrument. The instrument I have taught myself previously, I've kind of taught myself guitar, and you do have 2 hands active in guitar, and they're both doing different things. One's percussive, strumming, one is fingering the notes, it's melodic, and that's still different than drums, but it's also different than saxophone, which is my real instrument that I actually learned to play with instruction. And that is just completely melodic. I mean, technically you are creating rhythms and everything else, but rhythm is part of melody. Everything is just notes. I'm playing notes with pitches. And there's only one type of motion, it's just pressing a key or removing a key that has been pressed. And then guitar is a little bit different, strumming and fingering notes, and then this is like very different. So I'm just kind of trying to pull what I know from learning other instruments. Let's try to break it down. And it seems like this might not be helpful because maybe I can get this motion, but then throw everything else back in, and maybe would have been easier to learn it as a unit instead of separating it out. But I'm just gonna try stuff. At least it makes it easier to focus and read through that and feel like that's very attainable. That was definitely faster than tempo. All right, let's see if I can add the bass and snare. did feel like a little less intimidating, but I messed up more. And so I'm going to try slowing it down. Okay, I think I actually played it all right that time, and it didn't feel terribly awkward, but it still felt pretty clunky. All right, not bad. Let's try that one more time. Something that I find kind of helps me or seems to help me is when I add a little bit of attitude to the music, even while I'm practicing just getting it right. And I think a lot of people might say just focus on getting the rhythm right first, just focus on getting the notes right, don't do anything fancy with it. But for me, like, the way that the music sounds and feels is almost inextricably linked to the notes and the rhythm. Like, why separate that out? Because I might still mess up and I might still get it right either way, but it feels better to me and it's more fun to practice it with a little bit of style, even if it's style that doesn't work for the song, even if it's style that I'm making up, even if it's style that only works for me and what I, am working towards or hearing. Doesn't really matter because music is so open to interpretation. Like, music is supposed to be very personal. And, a lot of the musicians that we actually feel are great musicians are people who are willing to perform music in a very personal way to an audience. They're not afraid of their own inflections in their voice or on their instrument. They're not afraid of being completely unique, and that's what we like about them. And it's not true of every single musician. Like, I could go on an entire rant about this, and I'll just say that I was watching, I got into watching some, what is her name? Ariana Grande stuff. She is so versatile. She has these kind of clips where she's like on SNL, and she's performing a whole bunch of different styles of music, and she's emulating a bunch of different musicians, and it's incredible. And it's because she is so good in a generic way. Like, she's so incredibly good that she can do almost anything she wants. She can interpret almost anything. And it does make you wonder, like, what is her? What is her? But maybe her is just somebody who is incredibly good and can do anything she wants. And that's really cool. But, anyways, I'll stop my rant there and I'm going to practice music. Then sometimes it feels like then I get too hung up on playing it a certain way with a certain feel, and I get distracted from it. So there's like definitely balance there. Because I guess guess at the end of the day, like I want to have real emotion in my music and my playing. I want to be dynamic um, and exciting when I play, but I also want to be the type of musician who can interpret multiple styles, who's very free, and that's something that Ariana Grande exemplifies in her in the fun that she's having when she covers other musicians and kind of exaggerates and makes it funny, but is also like shows incredible talent and ability to do that. Um, I want that kind of musical freedom. And part of having that freedom is being so good at what you do that you're not limited to just one style or one manner of interpretation. So that means being able to replicate as a first step or as one of the steps in the process. And so what I'm trying to do now is replicate this song the way it is played. So if I get too far away from that and I'm not even playing the right notes and I'm skipping stuff, I'm just saying, oh well, then that's not really getting me where I want to be. So part of the exercise of learning music, I think, is slowing your mind down somehow and trying to actually look ahead at what is coming next while you are also playing in time without losing that tempo. And so that by the time I play something that I see written, I already know what it is, and I've already thought, okay, that's the hi-hat, it's closed, and it's a snare, and then the next one is just a closed hi-hat, and I'm thinking about it ahead of when I play it, which is really a mental exercise because you don't think that you can think that fast, but your brain actually processes and thinks incredibly fast. But you have to believe like that you can actually look ahead. You have to actually try it, because if you don't practice a skill, you're not going to gain and get better at that skill. So like a skill that you actually need to practice when you're performing music or playing music is the skill of looking ahead at something that looks so complex that you don't think you have time to read it while also playing, but go ahead and try to read it in advance, because if you practice that skill, you will get better at it. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. And I felt it happen that time, which is a really cool sensation when you're practicing and you feel something happen that you were aiming for. It's like the last time I played it, I didn't look ahead. I didn't feel like I could. That time I tried to, and I actually did. And maybe it could have happened the time previously too if I had tried, but I didn't try. And that time I tried. So I'm going to try it again. I think I kind of have this one. I mean, very kind of. I started thinking about something else. I'm just gonna be honest. I started thinking about work today, earlier, and then I messed up because my head wasn't all there. And that's another great thing that music does and practicing music does, is like it forces you to be very present. And if you're not very present, you feel it. And that's a difficult thing to train your mind to do, just to think about only one thing. And like, I'll be honest, I'm still thinking about other things as I'm speaking, and it's throwing me off. Like, I feel a little bit imbalanced because of that, because my mind is not wholly on what I'm doing right now. And so I'm going to try again. I really don't know how to shut your brain off of all other things and focus on only one thing, aside from really trying to do it over and over again, and sometimes just keeping at it until like a physiological thing happens in your brain and it's just like, oh, okay, we're doing this. We have been doing this for the last half an hour. I guess this is what we're doing. And eventually all the other things just fall away because, like, at least right away, at least at first, you may not be able to make your brain stop thinking about other things. It may just be a matter of doing something until you forget about the other things. Not bad. Okay. One more time. You know what? There was another part ahead of that one that I struggled with, and it was this. But I just got it, so let's just call it good for today. And jam for 20 minutes or so, and then go eat dinner.